We have a new leader who will likely be the next prime minister in Canada if he takes over the Liberal Party, which is the kind of classic ruling party of Canada. Mark Carney, who is the governor of the Bank of England. And I just read his book, Values, which is a very bad book from the perspective of literary quality, let's say, for a variety of reasons. But worse than that, it's like Trudeau, our current prime minister, has been a WEF follower for, I don't know, the last 15 years, let's say. But he didn't have the originality or the ability to come up with the ideas or really to implement them all that effectively, although he's pretty much crippled Canada's economy. But Mark Carney, he's like a WEF leader. And there's every probability that he'll be prime minister at least for an interim period and maybe longer than that. And then I've been to the UK many times and have great admiration for that country, for your country. It's a terrible thing to see it decay and slip away, and it's terrible to watch. For example, you people contend with energy prices that are literally 5 times more than they need to be, at least 5 times. Mark Carney said, for example, that 85% of fossil fuel stores across the world have to be kept in the ground. And at the same time, he promises the denizens of my home province, Alberta, which is oil rich, that somehow magically they'll all be supplied with green economy jobs, whatever the hell they are, to replace the fossil fuel jobs that, actually exist. And so, I don't know, I mean, my country, Canada, has gone down the insane woke rabbit hole like the universities, but I think your country, at least at the moment, under the Labour government, is even, maybe you guys are worse, which is a hell of a contest to win. So let's expand on that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, look, I think it's just important for people who are not in the UK but have been asking us, Brits, the same question, what the hell is happening to the UK, right? That's a question I get from many Americans, Canadians, and others. And the answer is that we are living through the effects of a political project that was embraced by both the established left and right, by the Uniparty, that was really united by a set of policies that voters are now beginning to reject. Net zero, mass uncontrolled immigration, much of it from outside of Europe, the imposition of radical woke progressivism within public sector institutions, doubling down on a London-based economy. We don't really produce anything anymore. We're closing factories across northern England. We're closing steel factories in the name of net zero and climate change, and a broken model of multiculturalism that most recently found its expression in the rape gang scandal across more than 50 towns in the country. Now, many voters over the last 30 years have gradually looked at this elite consensus shared by the established left and right, and they said, we've had enough. We want a different politics. We want a different kind of culture. And that is why I actually think you're beginning to see now what America saw in 2015, 2016. We're beginning to see radical political change in this country. As I'm talking to you now in early mid-February 2025, in the national polls, Nigel Farage and the Reform Party are now number 1. Labour and the Conservatives are now trailing this disruptive party, similar to the Canadian Reform Party in the early 1990s. We're beginning to see a serious pushback from voters who have had enough of this. And in Europe too, Jordan, you will know, in Germany, Austria, Sweden, we are, I think, beginning to see a sustained public-led pushback to the policies that have dominated Western democracies for the last 30 to 50 years.